Somewhere in a smoky casino, a well-dressed man adjusts his cufflinks, places his bet, and throws a smirk at the villain across the table. Elsewhere, a man in a black leather jacket sprints across rooftops, his breath sharp and controlled as he leaps from one building to another. A third man, bruised and relentless, scans his surroundings, calculating his escape as he tightens his grip on an improvised weapon, a rolled-up magazine. These aren't just spies. They're different versions of what it means to survive in a world of secrets, deception, and danger. James Bond, Ethan Hunt, and Jason Bourne may technically have the same job, but the way they do it and the reasons they keep going set them apart. How they get the job done. James Bond, the one who plays the game. Bond is what happens when espionage meets elegance. He walks into a room and people notice. He doesn't just rely on skill, he manipulates the entire environment. Whether he's charming his way into a villain's inner circle, bluffing through a high-stakes poker game, or casually pressing a hidden button on his watch that turns it into a weapon, he makes spying look effortless. Approach, infiltration through charm, gadgets, and high-class connections. Tools of the trade, custom cars, disguised weapons, and Q's cutting-edge tech. Biggest strength, his ability to blend in anywhere, from the slums to the suites. Biggest problem, everybody knows his name, which makes being a secret agent kind of tricky. Ethan Hunt, the one who won't quit. If Bond is all about style, Hunt is about pure determination. He's the guy dangling off a skyscraper, sprinting through a sandstorm, or jumping out of an airplane at 25,000 feet without a parachute that actually works. His missions aren't just about getting in and out undetected. They're elaborate puzzles that require teamwork, planning, and sometimes a bit of pure luck. Approach, disguises, tech, and mind-blowing stunts. Tools of the trade, hyper-realistic masks, advanced hacking gear, motorcycles, and anything he can grab in a chase. Biggest strength, his ability to adapt. No matter how impossible the mission, he finds a way. Biggest problem, he trusts too much, especially in a world where betrayal is the norm. Jason Bourne, the one who won't be stopped. Bourne doesn't have fancy cars or government backup. He's alone and every second someone is trying to take him down. But that's fine because he's better at this than they are. He doesn't need a plan. He is the plan. Drop him anywhere, and within minutes he'll have a weapon, an escape route, and a way to track down whoever sent the hit squad after him. Approach, pure instinct, blending in, thinking fast and striking hard. Tools of the trade, whatever's available. A pen, a book, a toaster. Yes, really. Biggest strength is tactical mind. He can predict your next move before you even think of it. Biggest problem, he's always on the run. There's no home, no allies, just survival. What drives them? Bond follows orders, until he doesn't. He serves queen and country, but deep down he knows the world isn't as black and white as his orders suggest. Over the years he started asking himself, is he really the good guy or just a weapon for the highest bidder? Hunt saves everyone even when he shouldn't. For Hunt, it's not about winning but making sure innocent people don't lose. He'll break protocol, defy his bosses, and even risk his life just to keep one person safe. That makes him the most human of the three, but it also makes him reckless. Bourne just wants to know the truth. He was trained to kill, but he never had a choice. Now he's trying to piece together who he really is, while the very organization that made him is trying to erase him. It's personal. He's not chasing a mission. He's chasing himself. The way they fight. Bond, polished but deadly. He can throw a punch, fire a perfect shot, and take down an enemy without breaking a sweat. But make no mistake, he'll take shortcuts. If there's a way to avoid breaking a sweat, he'll take it. He fights like a gentleman, but when the gloves come off, he's as brutal as anyone. Hunt, a human wrecking ball. He's fast, fearless, and willing to take hits if it means getting the job done. His fights are chaotic, full of quick moves and desperate attempts to overpower his enemies. If you see him running, you know something is about to go down. Bourne, pure efficiency. Bourne doesn't waste a single movement. If he's fighting, he's finishing it in a few seconds. No fancy moves, no showmanship, Just the quickest, most effective way to put his opponent down. And he'll use anything within reach to do it. Who's the best? That depends on what you need. Need a spy who can charm his way into any room and take out enemies without breaking a sweat? Call Bond. Need someone who can pull off a mission that should be completely impossible? Hunt is your guy. Need a one-man army who can disappear in a crowd and take down an entire government agency with nothing but his wits? Bourne is already 5 steps ahead of you. Each of them brings something different to the table, and that's what makes them so unforgettable. One is the face of espionage, another is the definition of determination, and the third is a ghost who can't be caught. 3 spies, 3 ways to survive, and not a single mission they wouldn't take. The world of Mission Impossible isn't just about mind-blowing stunts and heart-stopping chases. It's a passport to some of the most thrilling locations on the planet. From the neon glow of bustling city streets to the raw, untouched beauty of the most extreme landscapes, every setting does more than just look good on camera. It pulls you into the pulse-pounding intensity of Ethan Hunt's world, making every mission feel real, unpredictable, and unforgettable. Every place the IMF team sets foot in has a purpose. It's not about picking the most glamorous locations. It's about picking the ones that make every twist and turn feel alive. When the story unfolds in cities like Washington, D.C., Vienna, or London, it's not by accident. These are power centers, places where governments rise and fall, alliances are made and broken, and a whispered conversation can be just as dangerous as a high-speed chase. The tension doesn't just come from the action, it comes from the knowledge that in these cities, one wrong move can shift the balance of power. Morocco's maze-like streets, India's electric energy. The IMF team isn't just facing their enemies, they're navigating worlds where they can't rely on home field advantage. The unfamiliarity adds to the danger. Every alley could be a trap. Every contact could be a double agent. When the action moves to places like Norway's sheer cliffs or the endless dunes of Abu Dhabi, the environment itself becomes a challenge. There's no backup, no safety net, just Ethan Hunt and the impossible task ahead. These settings strip everything down to pure survival, making every moment feel raw and real. One of the things that makes Mission Impossible stand out is its commitment to real, practical stunts. There's no faking it when Tom Cruise is scaling the Burj Khalifa, weaving through Paris traffic at breakneck speeds, or launching himself off a cliff in Norway. Dubai, the Burj Khalifa climb, the tallest building in the world. No safety nets, no CGI shortcuts, just a man dangling thousands of feet above the ground with nothing but a pair of high-tech gloves and an unbreakable will. Watching it, you feel the height, the wind, the sheer madness of it all. It's the kind of moment that leaves you gripping your seat. Paris, the ultimate chase. Paris isn't just a backdrop, it's a labyrinth of tight corners, open boulevards, and historic landmarks that turn a simple getaway into a breathless game of cat and mouse. The Arc de Triomphe isn't just scenery. It's an obstacle Ethan has to dodge at full speed while the city blurs past him. Norway, the motorcycle free fall, a death-defying leap off a rugged cliffside with nothing but open air beneath. No green screens, no digital tricks, just pure, unfiltered adrenaline. You're not watching a special effect, you're watching a man take the ultimate leap of faith. It's not just about action, it's about making every place feel lived in, unpredictable, and deeply connected to the mission at hand. The IMF team isn't always in control. They have to navigate new languages, customs, and political landscapes where one misstep could mean the difference between success and failure. Whether it's an opera house in Vienna or a hidden corner of Prague, every meeting, every exchange feels like a game of chess played in real time. The cool, futuristic glow of Shanghai, the golden sands of Morocco, the moody, rain-soaked streets of London. Every location has a personality that matches the tension and energy of what's unfolding. It's not just about where they are, it's about how it makes you feel. Global politics, shifting alliances, the constant threat of betrayal. This isn't just action for the sake of action. The settings tap into real-world tensions, making everything feel grounded and just within the realm of possibility. These aren't just made-up locations, they're places where the stakes feel real because they are real. The bigger picture, the reason these locations matter isn't just because they look incredible. It's because they bring the missions to life in a way that makes every high-speed escape, every death-defying stunt, and every impossible choice feel like it's happening in a world that's just a heartbeat away from our own. It's not about spectacle. It's about making every moment feel real. Ethan Hunt has faced plenty of enemies over the years, but the ones that stick with you aren't just the guys with guns, or the ones making generic threats over a video call. No, the real danger comes from those who get inside his head, the ones who make him question everything he stands for. That's what sets the toughest adversaries apart, not just their firepower, but the way they challenge Ethan on every level. Solomon Lane, the man who refused to die. Some villains want money, others want power. Solomon Lane? He just wants to tear it all down. A former intelligence operative who once believed in protecting the world, he came to the conclusion that the only way to save it was to destroy the existing order. By the time Ethan crosses paths with him, Lane is already ahead, playing a long game that doesn't just involve violence, but strategy. What makes Lane so dangerous isn't brute strength. It's his mind. He operates like a ghost, pulling the strings from the shadows, manipulating the people around him while barely raising his voice. He's unsettling in the way that only the truly patient are. He knows he doesn't have to win every battle, just the ones that count. Even when he's captured, he still finds ways to leave scars, proving that his reach goes beyond prison walls. August Walker, the human wrecking ball. If Lane is the chess player, August Walker is the hammer. From the moment he's introduced, you can tell this guy is different. No games, no subtlety, just sheer force. Unlike Lane, who wants to shape the world according to his vision, Walker doesn't care about philosophy. He follows orders, and if those orders involve taking someone out, he does it without hesitation. But Walker isn't just some muscle-bound enforcer. His presence represents something deeper, the idea that Ethan's own allies may not have his back. When he's first brought in as Ethan's reluctant partner, there's already tension. But once the truth about his real loyalties is revealed, that tension snaps into full-blown danger. His betrayal isn't just shocking, it's personal. He isn't a villain Ethan found out in the wild. He was placed right beside him under the illusion of trust. And that makes every punch, every clash, every brutal moment between them hit harder. Owen Davian, the man who didn't care. Some of the scariest people in the world aren't the ones trying to rewrite history. They're the ones who see human lives as just another part of a business deal. Owen Davian is that kind of monster. There's no deep ideology with him, no tragic backstory that shaped him into what he is. He's not out for revenge, and he doesn't even seem to enjoy the suffering he causes. It's just business. That's what makes him so unnerving. You can't reason with him. You can't appeal to any sense of honor, because he doesn't have one. The way he operates is terrifyingly efficient. He doesn't scream. He doesn't rant. He just lays out exactly what he's going to do, and then he does it. The moment when he calmly tells Ethan that he's going to hunt down and kill his loved ones, and there's nothing he can do to stop it, is one of the most chilling exchanges ever seen in these kinds of battles. Davian doesn't have to be the most physically imposing or the most strategic. His raw confidence is enough to make him one of the most dangerous threats Ethan has ever faced. Kurt Hendricks, Ambrose, and Gabriel, different kinds of dangerous. Not all enemies fit into the same mold. Some, like Kurt Hendricks, take things to an extreme, believing that destruction is not just necessary, but inevitable. Others, like Ambrose, show what happens when someone with Ethan's skill set loses their moral compass entirely. And then there's Gabriel, a figure from Ethan's past who brings a level of psychological damage no other enemy ever could, all while wielding the power of cutting-edge technology. Each of these threats has pushed Ethan in a different way. Some have forced him to question who he can trust. Others have made him see how fragile the world really is. But what unites them all is the fact that they're not just obstacles, they're reflections of different possible futures. Paths Ethan himself could have taken if things had gone just a little differently. And that's why these clashes aren't just about survival. They're about something much bigger, Ethan Hunt doesn't just outrun explosions and dangle from skyscrapers, he's constantly wrestling with something far more dangerous: the weight of impossible choices. Every mission throws him into a web of betrayals, power struggles, and global threats. Yet no matter how much the world tries to box him in, he refuses to be a pawn in someone else's game. The question is, how much control does he really have? Time and again, he's told that the future is already written. The Syndicate, the Apostles, and even artificial intelligence, powered threats like the Entity, all operate on the belief that people are predictable, that systems will always win, and that individuals are powerless to change the inevitable. Yet Hunt keeps proving them wrong. He doesn't accept failure as an outcome, even when success seems out of reach. But breaking the rules has a cost. His victories never come without sacrifice. Personal relationships crumble, friends are put in harm's way, and the weight of past decisions lingers long after the mission ends. Some intelligence agencies see the world in numbers. Sacrifice a few to save millions. Hunt sees it differently. He knows the easy answer isn't always the right one, and that's what sets him apart. For him, fate isn't something set in stone. It's something you fight for, no matter the odds. Who is your ultimate spy? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, check out this other clip.